Hello and welcome. This is the Daily Dharma. My name is Dina. Thank you so much for joining today. I thought it would be nice to have another outdoor clean view of things. And today we're outdoors again, obviously, so please do excuse any of the road noise and incidental noise that may come across, but I hope they add to the reading. Let's go ahead and take some deep breaths. If you're in a good place to do so, maybe close your eyes. Much gratitude to you, the viewer, showing up, lending your time, energy, and attention for this moment. And today, a few of the preceding messages seems to be Saturn is the energy wanting to communicate first and foremost today. So Saturn has recently gone retrograde. So this is an astrological term when based on Earth's orbit as well as whichever planet we're talking about. A lot of people have heard of Mercury retrograde. One of the others either surpasses because of the speed of the inner planets compared to the outers, or where one will actually return on its return cycle because of the smaller orbit. And so one will kind of lap the sun before the other has really gotten to its extremity point. So there's your little astrology for the day for those who are interested. For those not, we hope that you'll indulge. So anyways, I've got a couple of cards that came out in the pre-shuffles. I first went through the code cards, as I call them, which I believe it's the Sacred Geometry Activations Oracle deck, one of my favorites. And we had two popping out: Divine Feminine, number 21, and Realization, number 37. So for me, this is definitely talking a little bit about the Saturn influences. So I'm just going to show you these cards that we're working with first before moving on. So the next card out I thought was Perception showing itself, but when I just picked it up a moment ago, Fertility was left on the deck behind Perception. And Merkaba was here obscuring this card, but then because of the layout that I've been called to do, I was going to do 6 points first, and then 12 clarifiers around the edge with a 13th in the center here to represent the divine feminine energy, often seen to be governed by either the 3 or the 13, based on many reasons. So fertility and perception in Merkaba with miracle underneath Merkaba, I absolutely love that. So we're going to take Merkaba and put that in the center. For me, that talks about the aura, the influence, and our ability to be both aligned and centered well within our core sense of recalibrating our power and purpose and getting back onto the right track. All of these things represented by Merkaba. And Saturn retrograde, the first and foremost influence that we are looking at when a planet goes into retrograde is a deepening and introspective view on the areas of life that it governs. Excuse me, I do have such an itchy nose all of a sudden. So I don't know if that's a message for one of you. So with Saturn, the influences that Saturn governs are both time, so that bringing us into memories, nostalgia, and looking back over situations or our entire past, our entire life goals, and where we see ourselves wanting to go in the next leg of the journey. Then also governs accountability and responsibility, so making the right choices, acting out of integrity and out of conscious concern and compassion for all life and all environments and for the self, because we can only be compassionate with others to the ability for us to be compassionate with self. And as I was saying that, it was at 444 on the timer. So also forgiveness to the level that we can forgive ourselves. We can detach from the karmic issues that tie us into knots in our perspective, lending us either to fertility, fertilizing the seeds of doubt, or really nurturing our growth and our ability to transcend and ascend in this life. And so hearing the mailman coming through, or mail woman, whichever one it may be today, incoming messages, this is all about our ability to perceive what the truth is beyond the appearance of situations and the appearance of other individuals. It's no longer enough when Saturn goes retrograde to just assume that others are ignorant and that we'll just continue to do what we do. We have to look at how that influence of self to them and they to us are gifting us with information at 555 on the counter that can help us to change and evolve and grow, because we're not here in a vacuum just watching other people learn their lessons and just kind of doing, those of us that are here today are not going to be those that are doing bare minimum things on purpose. We're here because we're on a trajectory of growth and abundance and seeking out how to co-create miracles with the universe. So the divine feminine with Saturn was talking about how it feels in our body and how we are open and able to receive, which means that we have to also release. I often call this catch and release, like in the wild, where you capture some fish, but it's not the right kind, or it's not the right size, and so you throw it back and let it get a little bigger, let it do a little more on its own before we take the right good catch. We make those choices to perhaps even delay gratification, because we know that if we don't indulge in something now, that there is something greater excuse me, bug on my back, that we can delay that and get the right catch later, something that's more sustaining and fulfilling. So Saturn retrograde can often have repercussions coming for everybody when we all are awakening to our role, the role that we play, the role that others play in our fertility cycle and where we're at. So we can see a lot of karmic rewards starting to flow in when we're ready. And we can also see evidence of repercussions for choices that we've made, such as, maybe we can't take some big trip this year. We didn't save enough money, and we can look at our spending habits and say, okay, well, I see where this, and this kind of got away from me. Like, one of the things I liked to do in the past in particular was to host a lot of individuals, and I would, bring a lot of food in, and I'd set it all up. I'd buy supplies. I'd, spend days cleaning the house, and then you'd spend days cleaning up afterwards. And it was a little bit expensive. I started to notice the impact in those ways, and in the same type of a way, we can kind of you get it. There are things that can, like the coffee a day habit for those that commute to work, and instead of brewing a pot of coffee at the house, go out and get the coffee every day. And it's like those coffees, I don't know where your area is, but you would be hard pressed to get a small coffee for under $6 if it was a specialty brew, maybe if you take it straight black from McDonald's, you can get away with less. But there are choices asking us to be aware, and not so that we can berate or belittle or stand in judgment of those, but so that we can discern the way forward, so that we can reevaluate the goals and things that we're ready to build and co-create, and are we doing the right things in the right order. So with the, I call it my fractal deck, the Return to Spirit, it's called. We had two cards popping out together, Right Order and Gifted. We are gifted things in the right order, and we're being helped by, under the deck was Divinity. The one underneath wants to be seen. Oh, there we go. I love it when right comes out with right order. So writing things down, journaling, writing your own book or some type of memoir can come up for some of you. There is a way that divine forces are kind of helping us to receive, by release and receive here, where things are being put into the right order, such as those choices and commitments that we've made. And one of the things that's coming up in my own personal, which this can happen in a different area of life for many different individuals, but my natal Saturn is in the sign ruled by, well, to save you the longer story, my Saturn and my Mars are both in the sign of Leo, and Mars is in my 10th house, but Saturn is retrograde in my 11th. And so this combination for me is calling out 10th and 11th house in how I use my momentum, my actions, and my ability to be assertive in a way that also utilizes my networks and other individuals and takes others into consideration, because that's group associations in the 11th house, friendships and things of that manner. And so with Saturn now retrograde, it's calling these two into my chart. And so in your own chart, you can look for two things, both where it's at in your makeup at the time of your birth, and you can also look at the area of the chart that it's now transiting, which is easily found if you find any of your online resources. So I wonder if I even, real quick, yes, I do. Let's just take a quick peek and see the degree that we're on. So at the time of this broadcast, we're at, what, July 2nd. And, okay, we have Saturn today in between the 19th and the 20th degree. So because it's going backwards, it's applying, going towards the 19th degree of Pisces. So figure out what area of your chart is Pisces, and that house will represent the area of your life that is being either rewarded or gaining some more experience and lessons. And with Saturn, it can also represent control dilemmas and complexes, how we resist and cling and attach to what no longer serves. And so this, again, catch and release, all of these issues are kind of spinning around, if you will, and we're being asked to look beyond appearances to the depth of things to discover what Spirit has in store for us. So I'd like to move into this, the Akashic Tarot, another one that's new to me here. All of these will be listed in the description box below. And let's use this one because Akashic, having to do with time and lessons that persist even beyond this lifetime. And that's why for some of us it can be harder to grasp why things are occurring and what the lesson really is, because it's deeper than what we can perceive on the mundane level. So if your energy has been dissipated into areas of attachment versus fulfillment, we're being asked to release that, to put things in the right order, to free up our energy so that we can both process the information that needs to be processed and then move further to building in the right manner. So this Akashic Tarot hopefully will help us to get some information. Okay, we'll go with all of those that fell out. It's kind of a lot. The light of the world is on the bottom of the deck. This inspired individual is like a hermit about to knock on the door of an individual inside with his cat. Take a peek at that. Beautiful. The light of the world. So in this deck, it's not the traditional tarot. So this 10 card, 10 for me, numerologically speaking, is about completion. It's the 1 and the 0, which reduces to the 1. So it's like the accumulated full experience, almost like coming to the first full cycle, if you will, and then being able to understand how to create the new beginning from that, how the fullness reduces to back to unity, back to singularity, back to the self, how all the experiences that seem to be calling us and dissipating our energy are all really stemming from something singular within the self, some type of lifetime soul purpose focus. And so we'll take that as we will. Similar to me as when the male person went by and then came back by. They always do that. They go by the first time and then deliver on the way back. It's like something has perhaps come around for us once, and then on the way back, then there's more to be seen. And so in the same way, where do I want this? Right here. In the same way, things that repeat show us more when they come back around. So we've got a couple of cards coming up here. Interesting. We have just 3 of Roses in this deck is called Loving Elementals. It's so beautiful. Speaking to the inner child from an early age. I feel like because of this being the Akashic, it's talking about perhaps our connection to a simpler time, a more purified soul, light, enlightenment of soul, where if we can get back to the core basics, to our inner child, to our inner playfulness and light, perhaps being near a body of water, even if it's a fake one here like we have. Can see my chicken in the background up on the fence. Can you see it? And you may want to watch the bird feeder too here. I thought that it, even though it's a bit of an eyesore, the birds love it. They go nuts for the sunflower seeds that we put in there. And we've got tons of flowers here, nice little lantern. Naughty birds that I kick out of this area all the time. Get out of here. Go, go, go. I'm not going to worry about it right now. I've got bigger things to worry about than chicken issues. I hope you don't mind their noise. Hopefully it's a little bit of chicken therapy for you. But yeah, being by the bodies of water, by things that can delight your senses, and just putting a bird feeder out in a window that you can take in while you're doing something mundane or something like that can really help to call your energy back to the miracles that surround us and just kind of delight our senses. I see new birds on there all the time. They're all just coming and finding it. And I don't know if any of you know about flowers, but the very tall blue flowers up here, kind of pushing off there, they are hummingbird magnets. That's called salvia. And hummingbirds are very important to me. So yes, I hope that you guys will even get to see some cool birds here in a bit besides the chickens. So I'm putting that one above the Merkaba. 3 of Roses is talking about the water elements. So 3 of Roses can be a card of connectivity, sisterhood, brotherhood, friendship, and celebration energy coming back together and being grateful for the small things in life, letting some things just wash off your back. It's like, how long can we really hold on to misery? As long as we want to. but how long does, or how much effort and energy does it take to hold that, and how much better is life when we can release that? So I want to move across the front of the Merkaba. So the next one is One of Forces, being the suit of wands, fire energy, forces, the Akashic field. Yeah, it's like when we are engaged with the loving elementals and loving the world that we're engaged with and letting things come and go without clinging, then we can really start to let the flow of knowledge and wisdom continue to enlighten us and bring us into that collective, the unified field, the Akashic field, and more things will make sense. Whew, number 14, another major, initiation and the Count Saint Germain with that violet flame energy. Beautiful energy. So this would be normally the temperance energy. At the lower right side here of the Merkaba field, coming in to assist us to transmute the messages that we're speaking and flowing with, and to promote the understanding and healing. It's almost like showing us wisdom from various lifetimes and helping us to now advance even further into some type of mentorship, the coming online of our gifts and our skills, putting things in the right order helps us to be that clear and perfect channel, and to, as I look back at the underneath of the deck, to be the light of the world. So I'm going to put that at the base of the reading and reveal what's underneath. Ooh. Fated meeting? Seriously. So this doesn't need to be a romantic, intimate engagement for many of us. This can be any type of fated meeting. But we've got this clock, this time here. And so that's my juvenile barred rock rooster trying on his crowing ability. They've just started that this week. But yeah, there's this halo rainbow here. And it's as if these two have dreamt of meeting before and are now coming online here. It's like it's finally time. You've learned something that now you can move beyond and get that. I hear the hummingbird. Can you see it? Oh, that's so gorgeous. I hope you can see it right there. So yeah, it's time. Let's get another little shuffle here and get 2 more cards here. Okay, I think that's more than 2. Now on the bottom of the deck, 16, caught in the ruins. That's the attachment or nostalgia that keeps us thinking of things in the wrong perspective, feeling like we're trapped into something or obligated to something when it's time to move beyond it. So this could be with that fated meeting. This could be that you're in an unfulfilling job or unfulfilling relationship, not the right friend groups, whatever associations, something here where either by perspective or false loyalty, you're perpetuating something or have in the past. And this is the transitionary phase where perhaps this coming online here is going to attract the beneficial partnership here, so that you can really come online fully with your gifts. So the 2 that came out today, we've got 4 of Forces. I had this the other day, about a week ago when I first used this deck, talking about the seeds we plant now having its influence. And these are all timeless, so whenever you see this, it can be 3 to 6 months from the time that you're seeing this, or something that you did 3 to 6 months ago may be showing itself now. But what we're talking about here sometimes can be from eclipse portal to eclipse portal. With Saturn retrograde, it can be talking about the retrograde phase. I believe it goes through November this year of 2024. Oh, and the fated meeting card came out. underneath that. I didn't see that. Interesting. So it wanted to be part of the reading. So that one going in the upper left-hand corner here. So this can also be that you're already with a situation that was a fated meeting, but that some type of perspective is keeping the relationship or individuals in a state of stagnation or static time here, where yeah, maybe it's a dry spell, if you catch my drift, but there's something about this. It came to you in the right time, if you can trust that, that something is definitely something is playing out here. So let's take, I think we're not going to have enough time in this reading to do the full 13. So what I want to do is take a couple of oracle cards here. We're going to get one from the mixed Kali Kuan Yin deck first, and I may even read it from the book for you because the deck creator has such a way with words. There it is. Okay, and it's a Kali card, maybe a couple here. Okay, we get this one quite a bit. Shinamasta is talking about, I apologize, any of you who are squeamish, don't look. It's showing, I'll even cover some of it. It's pretty gruesome for many. Talking about self-liberation, releasing oneself from what has held us back. And this is the individual like cutting through the crap, if you will, to cut through the perspectives and disconnect from old false narratives, from misunderstandings, from self-doubt, from holding oneself back, into beginning anew, to put yourself out there and test your wings out in a new manner, because it's about liberation. It's about really stepping into your gifts to be the light in the world. With Miracle under the deck, you may have hands of light. You may channel the light, be it through angelic forces, which this Akashic Tarot features a lot of angels, or something else. So we also have Kamala Devi, number 25. This individual to me looks somebody who's got a ton of priestess and empress vibrations, but also highly activated emperor energy, feminine emperor energy. And you can be the masculine as well, but it seems to me that this individual is a fiery, watery mixture. So having come online more fully with their masterful feminine, masculine energy, and being passionate about things that matter to them, about their spiritual gifts. And it almost looks like there's a commitment made to spirit here throughout different lifetimes, and that's that tiered necklace and the jewelry connecting ear with nose. It's like the senses and sensitivities, and the third eye there. The jewelry is, to me, depicting all of the senses and the sensitivity that comes from being enlightened with those. In Moksha of Kali 39. Okay, so I'll just read you just a little bit here of the Kamala Devi 25. It says, we witness her beauty, and all struggle melts into grace. Upon a grateful sigh, the heart softens into her protection and radiates peace. Her presence transforms frustration into inspiration, fatigue into replenishment, and overactivity into effortless attraction. She is the golden pathway of divine manifestation and peaceful contentment. She empowers your heart to receive with the same generosity, openness, and grace that you express when you give freely and joyfully. Yes, loving elementals with that childlike spark. Abundant divine blessings are upon you. So whether it's in love, money, career opportunities, don't overlook the little tiny little tidbits, like some stranger on the street that lends you a compliment, or just smiles and nods or waves. It's these little things that can re-inspire the hope and the connection to our neighbors, and recognize that all our friends that we haven't yet met, kind of a thing, that our connectivity supersedes our ability to know everyone, because we are that seed of everyone. I know that's a little bit cheesy, but if you get it, you know, you know. So this is one of the wisdom goddesses. Her presence reminds us not to make things more difficult for ourselves than they need to be. Sometimes the assumption of burden is necessary for our growth. At other times, growth happens when we learn to cast the burden aside, understanding that we'll be able to offer so much more when we're not carrying another on our back, so to speak. So sometimes a more graceful path evokes greater spiritual progress, which ultimately benefits all beings. So she holds the wealth generating, life force protecting qualities of preservation and cultivation. If we're always used to giving out, even if we receive a lot, but we consistently overshare or leak our energies, she teaches us the loving art of self-valuing. It's not selfishness, but self-care. This is how we show respect for who we are and what we have to offer. That respect is an energetic broadcast that repels lower level energies, gives us firmness of mind to set boundaries wisely while attracting opportunities and pathways for expansion. Isn't that incredible? And of course it goes on. She is also known as the tantric emanation of Lakshmi, awakening deeper spiritual understanding of the nature of spiritual prosperity and enlightenment. So she provides many beautiful gifts in such a way that we learn to grow through these blessings, which is what this is all about. So I really appreciate your energy. If you were able to get something out of this message, please do like, share, subscribe, lend a comment. But no matter what you choose to do, I absolutely appreciate you. Check out some of the other content, and I look forward to seeing you back for the next messages. Thanks, everybody.